This is M13 to Falcon 47. What do you need, M13? We are, out of fuel, sir. Well, I have some bad news. You're not coming to Earth. Somebody tell Jimmy the bad news. What? What bad news? Huh? Hello? 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 Call in! Falcon 47!
So today we are talking about Apollo 13 and the amazing dudes that went to the moon. And it is quite an amazing feat, if you think about it.
Yeah.
Like, I look up at night, I think everybody does. You see the moon, and the moon is symbolic throughout history of... well, whatever. I mean, you have the sun, you have the moon, you have the stars. And we went to the moon.
Like, it's obviously something... And the thing is, maybe today, like, I don't know, there are a few dozen people that have been to the moon now. Only been 12 people in the world on the moon.
This is quite interesting to me. So the first person is Neil Armstrong, the second person, Buzz Aldrin, and
that's
the third person...
Those were both Apollo 11.
Yeah. And then on Apollo 12 we have Pete Conrad. Okay, no, but the thing is that I always think about Neil Armstrong. And I thought this for the longest time, and I finally went and read an article on Buzz Aldrin, and I was totally 100% right. I was actually quite proud of myself. But the thing is that everybody knows Neil Armstrong. Neil Armstrong, like,
was the first person.
Everybody
knows about.
When you say the moon, everybody's like Neil Armstrong,
and then
right?
a couple educated people know Buzz Aldrin. Nobody knows the third character.
Right? And I read an article on this, and there was a huge thing for Buzz Aldrin because legitimately, you're probably not thinking of that at the time. You're about to get out of this thing and step on the moon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it goes on record who's the first man ever to step foot on the moon. He went. I doubt he was thinking of that, but when he comes back,
he must have been
he's number 2
in every way.
Yeah. And his father had this big thing about it. He even went to the U.S. government and says, have the records changed. The first men on the moon. Clearly, it didn't work.
Right.
And he had just an overall hard life, and then he was number 2.
Right.
Like that just sounds.
It's just
like
that just sounds terrible.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
And so I finally read an article on that, and it was So we have Pete Conrad, Apollo 12,
Alan Bean on the same ship.
Apollo 12, Alan Shepard.
Same year actually.
Not 2014, 1971. Apollo 14, Edgar Mitchell, 14. David Scott, 15. James Irwin, 15. John W. Young, 16.
Apollo 16.
Charles Duke, 16.
Eugene.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was just like
Eugene. The last time somebody landed on the moon was in 72.
Yeah, and then there's like a bunch of people who actually orbited the moon.
Over 40 years since we last landed.
Yeah.
There's a lot of orbits.
There's a lot of people have orbited the moon, but not very many, but only 12 people that have actually walked on the moon.
Right.
And the fact that we did this in 1969 is kind of crazy to me because I think, like, what was the technology like back then?
Yeah, it seems like, wow.
They didn't have internet even? Like, they just had, like, radio signals.
Right, so, like, and yet you're landing on the moon.
Yeah, it feels like we're having this kind of technological, like, going, right? We hit 2000, we have this massive technology break, but there's, like, this little bump over here. And that is them going to the moon.
Yeah.
Which just seems like a crazy technological feat
the space race
at the time. And so...
Yeah.
So, America's the only people that have actually had people land on the moon. And Russia was the first person to actually send somebody to space, which is a huge thing. And then we had the space race.
Interesting, though.
With
like,
them,
however,
who's the first person to get to the moon? Yeah. And I think Obama has even said things about sending a man to Mars.
Oh,
I mean-
no, they already started that. They
Yeah, they have.
They already had all the people sign up for that. It's a one-way ticket to Mars. This is a real thing. You can look it up. It's
Mars
kind of
One.
crazy. Mars One. Mars One.
I don't know the exact details, but I know
It's
that they are
extremely
planning to send
crazy.
someone at least one.
But anyway, it's so interesting though. Going back to that first thing. That's how life is for like humans in general. Who won, the baseball championship 2004? Oh, everybody knows it's Red Sox, or some people know. Some people don't.
I
know.
know.
Okay.
Yeah, I know.
Okay, right. You didn't know, but
Who won number 2? Nobody knows.
who was second place? Who did the Red Sox play that year? Well, it may have been the Yankees, just because everybody might assume that. But honestly, who knows? You could take any year, and some sports whiz people will know the first, but very few people will know the second.
Yeah.
Very few people know the second. The vice presidents of the United States. Nobody knows them. It's who is the vice president of the 10th president? Who knows? 10th president? Oh, John Tyler. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and so for Buzz
It's
Aldrin,
crazy.
this was like this defining moment. And Buzz isn't even actually his real name.
I'm gonna become the first person.
Clearly, but he kind of
10
became
Go-Gurts in
what?
10 minutes. Continue.
What are you doing? They have the International Space Station, and there's I think there's 2 astronauts from the U.S. at this time. And they have constant stuff up there. And I was reading another article about what life is like on the International Space Station. What they have, so we all know that it's hard on the human body. When they come back, they have rehab and whatever
Right.
else. Because they have to get the muscle back. Because when they're up there, it's just oh yeah, this little thing. And then you go flying 20 feet, right? But here it's right, And so they come back and they're not used to the gravity. Because I think the longest time somebody's been up there, I think total is a year or something like that. They stay up there for a significant amount of time. I mean, considering
that's a
how much it
long
costs to send them up there.
Yeah.
And they have, experiments going up, but a lot of it is just keeping the place running.
Right.
Half the people up there at any given time are just doing maintenance on the place.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because they see a sunrise at least every hour, if not sooner. I don't know what the exact number is.
Right.
And so when they go to bed, it's just okay, close the blinds.
Right.
I have to go to bed now. It's
Right. And the blinds are floating
and
around.
they have-
so you have to have,
it's insane
yeah.
how exactly crazy they are. I was reading
I mean, think about this year thing. Okay, you're this is your birthday. You're having Christmas and Easter up there. You're
They
up
get
there
to-
for a while, and you don't really have a choice.
and they Skype.
You can't
their,
really be oh, just come down, I'll come up, whatever.
Oh,
Whatever.
yeah.
No, you go up, you're going to have a purpose. You're not just going to go up for a couple days unless it's going to the moon, right? Obviously they're not going to, this is the first time you've ever, one of the first times people have even been in space, they're not going to send them up for a while. But when it's already been tested, they need you up there for things. They don't have the, the money to send you back up and down.
Oh yeah, no. So they have to. They get to Skype
crazy.
their wife and their kids. They get to have whatever communication it is.
Right.
It's limited because you have everybody at ground control. It's 50 plus people there.
That you have to pay.
So it's hard on the human body. And so what they do is they have treadmills and things up there, space treadmill. Oh yeah, what have you done? Oh, space treadmill. You could just say that alone and you have a bunch of people.
Right.
Anyway, and so what they do is they have these strap things that hold them down to try and simulate Earth's gravity, and it's bungee cording yourself to the treadmill and then running. Right, but there's no gravity, so where does your sweat go? Well, pretty soon you have this big ball of sweat or something.
So gross.
Float it, and then they're okay, throw a rag at it. I went to space. It'd be on my
just
bucket
think
list.
about it. It's
To play darts 30 feet away.
And it's ooh, ding! It's bullseye.
Yes! Okay. But it's
Oh my
it's
gosh.
so much
Okay.
they have
Well,
to
that's
do.
just something you can dream about. One of these days, hopefully,
Hopefully, maybe not.
hopefully, maybe not. Thanks for talking about space and
with us.
Apollo 11.
It's pretty crazy stuff. What human race
I'm
is.
sorry I had to eat Go-Gurts during the video. I need my doses, Kind of get these cravings.
Dumb. Okay. Bye bye.